The fact is, my husband inherited this house from the elder, who owned it and counted him as a son. When Devin's family first migrated from the Caribbean, they moved to a home a few blocks away from a man named Mr. Carlton. He lived in this beautifully maintained single-family home. The lawn was always manicured and everyone admired it. The thing that really stuck out about Mr. Carlton was he lived alone and never married and never had any children. Strange, huh? Mr. Carlton was an unusual man, silent, tall, and mysterious. He retired the same year that Devin moved to America. He always said he was forced to retire from his job as a senior maintenance manager because, quote, he was too old to have around anymore, end quote. That job meant a lot to him. Devin says he never got over it, which probably explains why most days you could find him sweeping and cleaning even when the place was already clean. Other than Mr. Carlton's love affair with cleanliness, the only thing that he loved to do more was people watch. Around noon every day after his mid-morning nap, you could find him in his favorite chair, peering through his window, watching the world pass by. As he aged, he lost his mobility. Devin always volunteered to help him out before and after school. He would run his errands and do his shopping. My husband's parents wondered what he was doing at the old man's house all the time, but never stopped him from going. "Be careful, you never can trust people, him too quiet," his mother warned. The neighborhood woman would whisper and talk about Mr. Carlton all the time. "Something wrong with him, Why him never marry?" They couldn't figure him out. Even in his golden years, it was obvious that Mr. Carlton was a handsome man. He still had all his teeth and a head full of jet black curly hair. He made for an intriguing character, and neighborhood women busied themselves weaving all manner of tales about him. One story goes that some years ago, when Mr. Carlton was much younger, the women decided to send, a decoy to test him out. Miss Mavis Fields volunteered because secretly she thought he was handsome and wanted an excuse to get closer. So one day, she got dressed up and sweet up herself with perfume. Each of the ladies watched her not so discreetly from their front porch as Miss Mavis made her way over to Mr. Carlton's front door and rang the bell. When he finally answered, she introduced herself. "Hey, Mr. Carlton, I am Sister Mavis. I heard a lot about you." "Yeah?" He didn't even look her way. "I am new to the neighborhood and wanted to meet all my neighbors," she continued, not quite ready to give up her mission. "Nice to meet you, and thanks for coming." His response was lackluster at best. "Aren't you going to invite me in for a drink or something?" "In where?" he retorted. "Madam, I don't know you. You could be a mad woman for all I know." "But Before she could convince him otherwise, bram! He slammed the door loudly in her face. The ladies who were watching in suspense suddenly erupted in fits of laughter at Miss Mavis's epic fail with Mr. Carlton. Devin seemed to be the only person who he allowed to get close to him. He became like a grandson he never had, and Mr. Carlton was genuinely grateful to Devin for all his help. He lived at 198 Newhall Avenue, which was in one of the better and more beautiful areas in Queens. Mr. Carlton died 2 weeks after Devin graduated from university. He was a meticulous man and had already finalized all his burial needs, so there was no need for any fuss. Even though his neighbors never had an opportunity to get close to him, many longtime associates came to the funeral, some out of concern and some out of curiosity, eager to find out what would become of the dead left. The funeral was quiet and uneventful. The service had a full house, but no family members showed up. The following week, Devin received a certified letter in the mail summoning him to the office of Attorney Basil Thompson. He racked his brain from any high school indiscretion he might have gotten into, but he had never been in any real trouble. Maybe the letter was meant for his cousin, Trevor, who never changed his official address even though he rarely came around anymore. I remember that phone call. The sky had darkened and it was set to rain all day. Around 3 p.m. that afternoon, thunder and lightning began to roll in.